Welcome to Books with Bella. Okay, I finally actually got to vlog a little bit today. It was like my first real time vlogging, but I went to three different stores. I only got some vlogging at two of the stores because the second store that I went to is like a really busy store. Like I knew I was not gonna pull out my phone there. It's just no way. That place is insane, and it's like a place where you just want to look, and get up out of there. It's that kind of it. They really need a bigger building, but that's a whole nother story. But I still love and support that thrift store because all of your purchases go to support women's domestic violence victims. Okay, so survivors, let's say survivors, okay, because that's what they are. But yeah, I love to shop there because it's for a good cause. Okay, this was the first store. They had a journal, they had journal tabs, which was cool, stickers. And look, they just got all these different books mixed in for $1. Here's a Harlan Coben one, but it was damaged. The Lake, Natasha Preston, that's the thriller. Look, they got the Hot Girl Murder Club in the mix. This one was like an anthology, short stories. There's a bunch of different books. Jeez. Charlotte's Web. Yeah, they had a lot of kids' books. Muse Squad, which is YA, Big Summer. The Raft. I kind of wish I would have grabbed that one. I messed up. Should have grabbed it. Or I thought I did, but when I got home, I did not have it. Yep, should have looked into that deeper. It's Not Summer Without You. Looks like it had started at Target. Didn't get it though. Anne Frank. Diary of Anne Frank. Come on now. For $1. For $1. The Paris Architect. That was just an interesting cover. They both die at the end. Catchy. Fever. It's about typhoid fever. That's a fiction. The Book of Boy. I showed that one just because the cover was pretty cool looking. Belonging. That one had illustrations throughout, and I thought it was fiction, but turns out that it's a nonfiction. So, and they had two. They actually had the paperback and they had the hardcover. And it looks like it won an award as well. Shaming My Red Lips was a quick short read book. Really like that cover. I love poppy colors and that poppy on there. Poppy. The Odyssey by Homer. It's the abridged version. The Joy Luck Club was in there. The Faith of Elvis. That book was in great condition, okay? Okay, now here's one that I can actually film and talk. This place is a smaller thrift store. Well, actually it's a big thrift store, but they have a small book area. Some of their books aren't really that good though. Whenever I come here, there's a John Grisham. I think most of their books, well, I've bought like two books here before. The books were $3 when I rang up, and I was just like, okay, I didn't argue it, but they don't have that many good books here. But the cool thing is that you can at least film in here. Yeah, like I said, this one doesn't have much, but I can at least try and get comfortable with vlogging. And they do have the James Patterson and $4 hardcover. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. This one actually looks good. The nonfiction books. We're hauling. Okay, first of all, Anne Frank, The Diary of Anne Frank. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. Okay, and this book, Diary of Anne Frank, saw it, was not going to take it at first because who hasn't read this book? Okay, I read this book when I was like in middle school, but you know what? It was either middle school or like my first year of high school. No, I want to say middle school. I read this book and I decided to grab it. Why? Well, I didn't know what price it was at that time, but I had to ask, and turns out that all those used books were $1, like I said. But this book really touched me when I was in middle school, where it was just like, it's that realization of, oh, kids have pain. Other kids have pain. Like it just, like, I understand that other kids get beat up and other kids get bullied, but like this is a lot of pain and struggle and trauma and all the things, right? So I was like, okay, let me just buy it because I can reread it at some point for $1. Why pass that up? And whoever had it, because they were all used, look, they even put like some little annotations in there and they wrote in there, but all the writing is in pencil. And so it's actually going to be kind of fun to read with somebody else, the parts that somebody else underlined. Okay, so that's actually going to be kind of fun in a way. And also for me, just going over like reading it in middle school versus reading it now as a fully grown adult, like, how is it going to hit different or what? But still, just an amazing book. Really sad book, but good book. Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. I actually have the DVD. Never even watched it yet. But yeah, I remember the movie being out. I never did go to see the movie, but then I bought the DVD. Never got around to it. But the book, this book, $1. It's by Margot Lee Shetterly and Young Readers Edition. Okay, they did have a lot of YA books at this thrift store for some reason, but that's fine. I don't mind reading YA. Okay, the untold true story of 4 African American women who helped launch our nation into space. So yeah, that was $1. Then this one, I really didn't even know what this book was. A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solnit. And this one is a memoir. As I told you before, I used to read a lot of memoirs. So I was like, why not for $1? And then it says an award-winning author explores wandering, being lost, and the uses of the unknown. And lots of good quotes on the back. So I was like, well, why not? And it's in really good condition too. So I will put that in the back of my books here, and I'll get to it one day. This one is Rose Hall's White Witch, The Legend of Annie Palmer. And I grabbed this one up because this one's a quick read, first of all. But I grabbed it up because apparently this Annie Palmer was a slave owner in Jamaica. So the book is about that. So there's like historical data in this book. So I was like, why not? Why not? Give it a try, Why not? Okay, then we have this one, which is Shaming My Red Lips. And this one's a really quick read too. This one also, of course, was $1. And I was just like, and I'm not going to fry her name. There's her name at the top, the author's name, not going to fry it. But this book, it says the diary of a wild poppy who lost her identity and found it again. And I read the back, and it just says that this book is about an Iranian American teenager who's living in Brooklyn, and she's all excited about going off to college, and she wants to become a journalist. And then her father decides, oh no, I don't like this American stuff, I guess, and we're moving back to Iran. And whoa. So yeah, that should be very interesting. And like I said, well, I love this cover. This cover's really pretty. Shaming My Red Lips. Very, very pretty. And then it's going to be a quick read. $1. So I'm excited for that one. This one is a YA book, and it is Muse Squad, and it's by Chantel Eka Azevedo. And this one is just about a group of preteens or teens who have magical powers. They have some magical powers, and I didn't go too deep in on that because I don't mind YA, but I don't see myself getting to that anytime soon. But the book looked very, very interesting, and they formed this group called Muse Squad. So either I'm gonna keep it or I'll pass that one along because it's a hardcover. And the cover looked really cool. I just couldn't see myself leaving it there for $1. Yeah, got a little greedy with that one. Okay, this one is Fever by Mary Beth Keane. Um, I just know it's about a chef, and it's about let me see, typhoid fever. Yep, it's about typhoid fever in America, but it is a fiction book. So that one's going to be probably good. Not in the best shape, but since it's $1, I just pulled the trigger. Okay, this is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. And as you can see, this book started at Target at some point in its life. And this is a collector's edition of that book. Now, this book is about two strangers who I guess get a message on this app, Fast Friend app, and it says that you both have less than 24 hours to live. And so, and these two strangers, these two guys meet up for one last epic adventure. And again, they're total strangers. So that one should be a good read. Sounds a little thrilling. So, yeah, I've definitely had to pick that one up. Okay, this one is The Lake by Natasha Preston. And this one is about these two camp counselors. They're in training to be camp counselors, and they return to this camp that they were once campers in this camp, and apparently they did something terrible back when they were campers. And but they're just like, oh, we're back, oh, this is gonna be so cool, we're back where we used to camp. And but then there's a terrible message that comes, and the message is the lake never forgets. And so it's like all of what they did in the past is going to come back and resurface. So that should be interesting. Definitely sounds like a thriller. So excited about that. Okay, then I got this book, which is a hardcover. It's by Nora Krug and it's called Belonging. It's about this German woman who she was born, decades after World War II and things like that. But her family is from Germany and she's now living in America. Well, she goes on a trip. She takes a trip, I guess, back to Germany to find out her family's involvement in the war. And I wanted to pick this one up because of the illustrations, like the illustrations and how it's told. I actually am thinking now that this is actually a nonfiction. I wasn't sure when I picked it up, but I was like, oh, this looks like a very interesting read. And they actually had this one in a paperback, but then I saw the hardcover, and so I was like, oh no, I'm gonna do the hardcover instead. So that was that book, Belonging. This one is Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner. And I looked at the description. I'm glad I grabbed this one because I almost didn't grab this one because I was like, I don't know, is this gonna be a romance? But I'm glad I grabbed it. I was like, hardback, colorful cover for $1. Let me just grab it. I'm glad I did. It just had a very, very, very long description. And so I wasn't trying to stand there in the store and read all of that. But I'm glad I grabbed it anyway because this one is actually about two friends who their friendship ended after a big fight. But then years later, they reconnect on random. And then actually one of the friends is getting married. And so she asked that friend, like, oh, will you come be a maid of honor in my wedding? Whoa, that's crazy after, not being in contact all that time. But she says yes. But the wedding is going to be in Cape Cod. And so they go for this wedding and all that. And the next morning, the maid of honor, she wakes up and this guy who she had a crush on is missing and something terrible has happened to her friend. So actually, I'm glad I picked this one up because it actually sounds like something that I would actually be able to get through. Because if it's romance, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But it turns out this is not romance. Yay! Okay, this one was brand new. Now, this one was $2.50. This was in a totally different area of the store, too, I guess, because it was brand new. And so this one is by Ashley Winstead. Will be my first book reading of hers. I actually have another book of hers that I have not even read. I think it's called The Last Housewife or something like that. Still haven't read it. And actually, I was going to unhaul that book, but then it got such rave reviews for The Last Housewife. I was like, okay, well, let me hold on to it, and then I'll get to it later on down the line. So when I saw her name as the author on this book, I was like, oh yeah, I'm grabbing that because it's brand new. Hot Girl Murder Club is about this Hollywood star, and her sister died, I guess, in the past, or was murdered. But now all of a sudden there's like this new string of murders years later, and she's famous, and they're blaming her for these murders. And that sucks because she was actually like using her famous name to fight for justice for her sister. But then also there's this young detective like working on the case, and this detective is like figuring out stuff about her sister's murder and some other deep, dark stuff going on in Hollywood. So pretty much a nonfiction. Haha, no, joking. Because we hear about how dark Hollywood is. But yeah, this is actually a fiction. So Ashley Winstead, and actually I looked at the copyright. This came out this year. So this is a brand spanking new book. And in the corner, there's a quote, wildly entertaining. Winstead is a master of smart, compulsive suspense by Geneva Rose. And Geneva Rose is an author as well. They also had brand new notebooks, which were, this one is a blank page book, and it says work in progress. And I'm like so glad that I caught this one, because I needed a new notebook. As you know, I'm a writer, and I put like all my work ideas in this notebook, and this notebook is almost done, complete, over with. And so this is like the perfect timing. I was going to end up having to get a new notebook to write my ideas in. And it's so funny because earlier today I came up with this really cool plot, and I need to write it down before I forget it. And the plot was so good that came into my head. It was based off of anyway, we're not going to get into that. But yes, I'm happy that I found this blank book. So that's perfect. And if you've seen my other videos, I am a big advocate for journaling. Journaling is a form of therapy. Okay, this one was 50% off, so I paid $2.50 for it. This is a really big, huge journal, and it's got some cloth on it. And so I was like, why not? Why not another journal? As if I don't have enough already. So I was like, that's perfect. And it was cute because it's pink and it says stay focused. So that was that. And so that is just part one. And I think I'm just going to maybe go into a whole nother video for part two. We'll see. Okay, why am I showing you my hallway? Okay, I had to show this to you. The second place that I went to, the place that is really busy, and so there's no way I could vlog in there, but all of their books are between $1 and $3. I only paid $8 for all the books in this bag, and they gave me this bag for free. And the bag, it looks to be used, but I don't care. Look at it. It's cloth. It's perfect. It says Vogue. Look how cute that is. Look at how cute that bag is. And that's not like the first time that they've given me a free bag. Like, dude, I only spent $8. But I'm not complaining. Thank you. This first book is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Most people know this one. I saw the movie. The movie was good. And so the book, as you can see, was $2. So I just grabbed that one up. And it is a hardcover. They actually had two of them, but I just grabbed up one. That was very nice of me, wasn't it? To leave the other one for somebody else. The Da Vinci Code, okay? I guess there is like some kind of code hidden in Leonardo da Vinci's, it's a mind bender, okay, in his artwork. I don't know. My fiance raves about this book. And I know it was a movie too. And then like his friend also raves about this book. And so I think this book was literally 50 cents. I think when they don't have a sticker on their books that they're 50 cents. So I was like, yeah, hello, duh, definitely gonna grab it, because here it is for 50 freaking cents, and that's wild. And it's not in bad condition either. So it's on my TBR list because I've just heard so many good things about this book. These two both, I don't know about either one of these. I might end up passing these ones along. They both seem to be fantasy. This one is like YA for sure. Foul Twins. And then this one is The Awakening by Nora Roberts. And so Nora Roberts, I wanted to read. I wasn't expecting a fantasy one. Shoot, I should have looked into it deeper. But like I said, this store that I went to is just such a busy store. It's like I just grabbed the stuff and I'm just like, the prices are so good that I just grab them because I'm just like, I already know that it's like one of those stores where they're just like, we just want this stuff out of here, you know. But so we'll see. I might end up passing these two along because they're fantasy. The fantasy that I prefer the most and like the most is either witches or vampires. Like, that's my kind of fantasy. But you know what? I will find somebody else to love them. Now, I will say that this one was a major motion picture on Disney, so maybe I will check that one out a little bit, because at least I can maybe find it on Disney. But yeah, I never heard of either one of these, but I had heard of Nora Roberts. But that just goes to show that if you have a really, really, really good cover, like this one, the cover is so cool, it just makes you want to buy it. And then, like I said, I can always share them because they were so cheap. This one is a YA book, but I'm actually going to keep this one for myself. Grief in the Fourth Dimension by Jennifer Yu. And this one is about these two classmates who, I guess they really weren't even friends, but they both end up dying. And so they were in different dimensions, and then they were brought into this white room together. This is after they've died, and they can see their families on this TV screen. And on the TV screen, they can actually see how their deaths have affected their families. Let me read this part to you. As Caroline and Kenny watch life continue to unfold back on Earth, they realize they can influence events through radio signals, psychic mediums, and electromagnetic interference. Okay, so they can have an effect on what's happening. And then I guess even though they weren't friends, they start to bond and have a connection. Anyway, it just sounds really interesting and different. So YA or not, this would be one that I would want to read. Okay, and this is the only thing I got from that last thrift store. And I was going there anyway because I had to drop off a delivery. They accept like SpeedX delivery. So I was like, why not go ahead and look at their books? Now, this one is called Ghoster by Jason Arnott. And this one sounded like it would be good. This one is about a woman who's moving in with her boyfriend into a new apartment together for the first time. She gets there, he's not there. It's like she's been ghosted. Where are you? But the one thing that is there is his cell phone. So she goes through his cell phone, even though she knows that she should not. But heck, you can't blame her if she needs some answers. And then, of course, the phone starts to do weird thing, whispers from calls on his phone. She hears scratching on the walls of the apartment. And then she even feels like she's being watched. So never even heard of this book, but that alone, that sounded really, really good. Okay, that's it. That was my day of thrifting, book shopping. I got a lot of good deals. I bought some other things at the first store. Overall, I really did not spend that much money at all. And I had a lot of fun and spent a lot of me time. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay booked, y'all. Bye.